possible moment. But the more Tetrises you hit, the earlier you can max out, and the more impressive the achievement. In April 2009, Harry Hong produced the first recorded max out with game audio, and he was able to get the max out slightly earlier than Jonas, late in level 28 rather than on the transition into level 29. Harry was one of several people who claimed to max out on internet forums years prior, but now he had recorded proof too. In early 2012, a player named Matt Bucco recorded a game where he maxed out in mid-level 26, much quicker than previous max outs. He landed Tetris after Tetris starting in level 19, which was where he pulled away from previous players. And then, there were a couple claimed early max outs. Harry Hong claimed an early level 26 max out on tape, but he didn't upload the score, only claiming it on a Tetris forum. And in August 2014, a player named Terry Purcell reportedly maxed out in late level 25. This score used to have video, but it's since been deleted from YouTube. Most of these players' only goal was to get an early max out. As soon as that happened, they stopped playing and let the game end, even if it was several levels before the kill screen. However, not everyone did this, and that's why there was a second method of competing. Playing the game all the way to the kill screen, and then manually calculating the score later. In other words, trying for the highest score possible. Even though the score doesn't display higher than all 9s, you can still add up all the points achieved after this to determine your true score. For instance, in Jonas' first ever max out, he got a Tetris while his score read this. That meant he added 36,000 points, and his score actually finished at 1,018,160 points. And so, this became another method of determining whose max out was best. In 2008, Jonas achieved another kill screen that finished slightly higher than his 2005 max out, 1,023,860 points. However, since he used a camera from the 1800s, this was never verified as an official world record. In 2011, while recording himself for a documentary, Thor Ackerland achieved a score of 1,043,000 points. And a couple years later, a player named Ben Mullen took the score even higher, 1,071,000 points, before the kill screen took over to end his game. However, if the players going for the earliest max out had finished out their games, it's possible they would have achieved higher scores than these. Terry Purcell's level 25 max out is reported to have finished all the way at 1.195 million, but without video proof this can't be verified. And although Matt Bucco's score of level 26 cuts off right here, he claims to have kept playing this game all the way to the kill screen. And in the comments, he says he'd upload the rest when he got home. Well, it's 12 years later, and apparently Matt still hasn't returned home. So, the community was split between these two methods. Some wanted to go for the earliest max out, while others wanted to go for the highest score. The big problem was the score display. Since it only had 6 digits, it wasn't intuitive to keep playing after it maxed out. It led to two different sides of competitive play. And these sides wouldn't converge until one key event in 2015. This is a Game Genie code discovered by Max Out player Josh Tolles. It changes the leading digit of the score into hexadecimal, meaning that after 9, the score keeps counting up. A represents 1 million, B represents 1.1 million, and so on. This meant that the max out no longer applied, and the score was no longer capped at 1 million. So, it ultimately garnered the nickname the Uncap code. Josh posted his code on the Tetris forums, and it was treated as a fun novelty, but some saw potential for more with it. And in April 2015, Harry Hong began attempts to set a new high score with the Uncap code. On April 23rd, he played a game that maxed out in level 28, then took it to the kill screen and finished with 1,101,000 points. This was the first verifiable game to score over 1.1 million. And a few days later, he got one even better. A max out in level 26 that ultimately finished at 1,150,000 points. But after these records from Harry, the competition for the high score record died down. Harry Hong was one of few players who both cared about the high score record and was potentially good enough to improve it. So when he stopped trying for it, there was no competition to take it from him. Instead, in 2016, he came up with a goal of achieving as many max outs as he could in a year, rather than improving the uncapped record. 268 max outs later, the high score remained at 1.15 million. But in 2017, Harry came up with a new goal for his stream. He was going to go back to playing with the uncapped code and try for a 1.2 million point game. This would surpass the highest claims from over the years, and be an undisputed world record. Harry played for weeks, building up his skills but falling short of the 1.2. He'd need an early max out, in level 25 or better, and then still need to land several more Tetrises before the kill screen. A score like this demanded near perfection, but after months of attempts, on April 14th, 2017, Harry got a good score going. A max out in mid-level 25, Harry was on pace for it. From this point, he needed at least 5 Tetrises before hitting the kill screen on level 29. Harry got his Tetrises, but was still a few points short. With his stack building high, he desperately used a long bar to get a triple, but this activated the kill screen. He still needed 3,000 points. Harry had to find a way to clear 2 more lines while playing at kill screen speed.
Yes! Yes!
History was made. The congratulations poured in as Harry had taken Tetris to new heights. After all the max outs that came before him, from the internet claims to the ones with concrete proof, this one was the best of all. Except, it's never quite that easy with NES Tetris. There are reports that, around the time of Harry's 1.2, a player named Bo Steele achieved a 1.2 million game of his own. Nobody remembers what his exact score was, or what the level of proof was. But Bo is a verified max-out player, so his score claim isn't unreasonable. Still, Harry Hong gets the most credit for being the first to achieve 1.2 million, and he was one of the best players in the world, one of the few who was capable of a score this high. However, as good as Harry was, there was still another player who had potential to go even higher. See, every year since 2010, the biggest Tetris tournament was the Classic Tetris World Championship, where the best NES Tetris players in the world competed. Of the 7 annual tournaments by this point, 1 had been won by Harry Hong. As for the rest, all 6 were won by the same player, Jonas Neubauer.
And your winner of the 2016 Classic Tetris World Championships, 6-time world champion, Jonas Neubauer!
In the 12 years since his first recorded max out, Jonas had turned into a monster. Every year, he went head-to-head against Tetris's best players. And time again, Jonas proved better than the rest. His stacking was brilliant, and he was able to get out of trouble when others couldn't. Jonas Neubauer was simply considered the best NES Tetris player on Earth. Yet through all this, he'd never really cared about the score world record. He was more focused on tournaments. But in 2017, he started streaming on Twitch, and on July 24th, he booted up a casual game of Tetris. That was 17 straight Tetrises to open the game. Unbelievable. He slowed down a bit after that, but still managed to max out in mid-level 26. And then, he landed 6 more Tetrises before the kill screen. Jonas's score read all 9s since he wasn't using the uncap code, but in reality, his score was 1,211,000 points. On a random game where he didn't even bother to use the uncap code, Jonas had just set a new world record. After this, Jonas went back to focusing on tournaments, not caring to improve the high score record anymore. And while other players continued to put up new scores, some of which were over 1 million, very few were able to approach a score of 1.2 million. This type of game was reserved for only the best of the best Tetris players, and even they couldn't consistently put up scores like this. It took a lot of luck to get long bars when you need them. So, Jonas instead prepared for the 2017 Classic Tetris World Championship. And that November, he officially made it 7 World Championship victories.
There it is! Jonas is your champion! 2017 champion!
There was nobody else on his level. And in June 2018, a year after his 1.21 million game, Jonas set out to improve the score world record, trying to take it to a level where nobody else could even touch it. This time, Jonas wasn't messing around. He was using the uncap code, so he could know right away what his score was. On June 13th, he got a really good game going, a max out in level 25. After landing 5 more Tetrises, his score was just short of 1.2 million, with only 4 lines until the kill screen. Jonas built a center well, waiting for the long bar that would push him over the top. And then, he got it.
Let's go!
New world record, 1.23 million. But Jonas wasn't satisfied yet. A week later, he managed another level 25 max out,